Have you considered moving to latitude Margaritaville Watersound, but you're just not quite ready to sign on the dotted line? Well, then you are in the right place. I've got 5 pros, 5 reasons why you would love living in latitude Margaritaville Watersound that helped us make the choice that this is where we want to spend our retirement years. Well, I've also got 5 cons if you think, no, not the place for us. We better move on. So let's get started. So here's reason number 1, the pro, why we bought at Latitude Margaritaville Watersound. It's only 7 miles from the beach. We have always loved the beach. When we go on vacation, we go where there's a beach. We don't ever go to where there's mountains because we are beach people at heart. So that's the number 1 reason, 7 miles from the beach. And not just any beach, 7 miles from some of the most beautiful beaches in the entire world. Gorgeous white sugary sands, and the water is an emerald green. That's why it's called the Emerald Coast. 7 miles straight shot down Highway 79, and depending upon the beach you choose that you want to go to, within 15 to 20 minutes you can have your toes in the sand at one of the many public beaches, beautiful Emerald Coast beaches in Panama City Beach. And here is pro number 2. The overall general location of Latitude Margaritaville Watersound is excellent. First off, it's 15 minutes approximately straight shot to an international airport. So we're not going to have to worry if we need to fly out about driving all the way over to Fort Walton to go to the airport there in the Destin area. We've got right down the road. We don't even have to make any turns to get there. Once you're out of the neighborhood, it's directly on the same access road that tees with Highway 79. International airport, guys. American, Delta, United, Southwest Airlines, and probably more, maybe more regional airlines that I don't know about yet. I'm really thrilled that if I need to get home quickly, I can. The second thing that is so super about the location of Latitude Margaritaville Watersound is that it's just far enough away from the touristy areas along the beach that we don't have to drive in that congested traffic during high season if we don't want to. There's plenty of grocery shopping, restaurants, things to do up north of the bridge that goes over the waterway, and that's where we are. So we're not quite, we're very close to the action, but we're not dead center in it. Another thing about the location, it is right on the branch of the Intercoastal Waterway or Intracoastal Waterway. And right up the waterway, they are building a marina. So it's not going to be very far from our house. We're so excited about that. And with being on an intercoastal waterway comes all of the water sports that we can do on there. And not only are there water sports, but there's just a plethora of outdoor activities that are right outside the community door, not to mention the ones in the community that we'll just discuss in a minute. So the next thing for us that made it a really great location is that when we're driving into our new home from Memphis, where we currently live, we come in on Highway 79, which after I-10, south of I-10 is a 4-lane highway. If you're coming into Panama City Beach via Birmingham and then Montgomery, you're going to come in on Highway 79. Such a great location. It's going to save us 15 or 20 minutes driving where we want to drive, and that's out of season. And you know those last minutes of driving, especially in from Memphis, which is almost an 8-hour drive. Whew, that's when you're tiredest and when you're so ready to get home quickly. Now here's reason number 3, and it kind of ties into reason number 1. I want to point this out because the beaches in Panama City Beach, so many of them are public beaches. When you go to the beautiful beaches up and down 30A, those are private beaches. And we wanted to make sure that we were near public beaches that have public facilities and public parking. There are many public entrances to the beautiful beaches from Panama City Beach. In fact, dozens and dozens and dozens of public entrances, but not all of them have parking, not all of them have bathrooms. Well, that was important to us, especially if we're going to be doing a lot of walking. We want to stay on the beach. We want to have restroom facilities nearby. And when we're with the grandkids, and we hope they visit a lot, we definitely want those facilities nearby for them. Reason number 4, this was important for us. We wanted some great restaurants really close by so we didn't have to drive into a lot of tourist traffic in the high season. And we found 2 when we were visiting last week. So there's 2 restaurants we discovered underneath the overpass of the bridge on 79 that's just south of the entrance to Margaritaville. They're hidden and they're little gems, and you wouldn't find them if you didn't know they were there. One for lunch and breakfast is Bayside Cafe, and second for dinner is Boondocks. And honestly, we just heard about these places by mouth. And of course, there's a beautiful and wonderful, reasonably priced restaurant called the Grill and Chill at Margaritaville. And on the second floor is the Overlook Bar, where you can watch the sunset overlooking the Intercoastal Waterway. Oh, it's so nice. So right away, there's 3 places we can go. But it was just important for us to find some restaurants that we liked that were close by. This is not even counting all of the fun restaurants and cafes that are up and down 30A. Terrific. Reason number 5, and this is probably the main reason that most people are purchasing in Latitude Margaritaville Watersound, and that is because of the fabulous amenities of the community. There's a town square with an outdoor amphitheater, an enormous dance floor. So there's a lot of places that have live music that have these little teeny tiny dance floors. No, not at Margaritaville. And everybody, we actually got to attend a really fun concert. Everybody was dancing. The dance floor was packed. The other amenities of the neighborhood are terrific. You've got what I mentioned before, the Grill and Chill restaurant, the Overlook Bar. You have a resort pool that is huge. It has tiki huts. It has lots of umbrellas or shading underneath the seats. It's got a 0 entry pool. It's got a little waterfall on it. You step right outside. You can get drinks of choice or lunch at the restaurant. Then there are a lot of indoor machines in the fitness center, and also classes. We saw people while we were there last week riding their bikes over to the square, and they had their yoga mats on the back of the bike, so we knew that a yoga class was coming up. Lots to do in the indoor fitness center, and there is an indoor lap pool there. I think there are classes also that you can take. I haven't checked it all out, but that is super. Also, some of the amenities include, I mentioned the kayak launch. There's a fabulous walking trail around. There's a dog park for an area for large dogs, small dogs, for bathing your dogs. And need I not forget, lots and lots of pickleball courts, tennis courts, an all-purpose court, and lawn games like bocce ball. And around the town center are areas of chairs seated, all facing one another, so that you can have a conversation outside with a cool drink in hand with your friends and just have a lot of fun there in the town square area. Latitude Margaritaville Watersound is almost done building a work and play center, which is going to have a very large facility, which I hear now they now need for evenings like where they have the big trivia games, the bingo nights. There's going to be rooms that you can rent. There's going to be a stage for performances. That is going to be attached to the Margaritaville Spa, where you can take your dog to be groomed. There are lots of dogs in the neighborhood, I might say. We saw them all out walking. And then there's also going to be the hangar where you can take your golf cart, because this is a golf cart community, to be worked on. And that's going to be finished this summer in 2025. I'm going to do a whole video on the amenities with lots of pictures, especially when we move there, so you can see the fabulous offerings. We were so impressed. And everyone we talked to there loves living there. It's not, yeah, I liked it, but it's not really quite what I wanted. None of that. It's all, oh my gosh, this is the most wonderful place to live. And some of the people there take to use all the amenities, and some of them don't. You can use as many as you want. You don't feel obligated to go one way or the other. And we are so excited about that. That's the 5 reasons why we chose Latitude Margaritaville Watersound. Okay, 5 cons. If these things bother you, then probably a home in Latitude Margaritaville is not for you. Okay, here's number 1. It is hot, hot, hot in summer. And if you prefer a more temperate climate, you are not going to be comfortable in the heat. You're going to be miserable. So if you don't like to run over to the pool or go down to the ocean, this is probably not the community for you. So just keep in mind, if you don't tolerate heat well, then you're not going to enjoy yourself for like 3 or 4 months out of the year. We have some pretty hot summers in Memphis, and so we're ready for the heat. I think we can live through that. I'm a real estate agent. I've shown properties all summer long, so I'm used to the heat in the summertime. But if you don't like it, I don't think you would like living in Latitude Margaritaville Watersound. The second con is, y'all may not realize this, but there's no fenced yards in the entire community. It's built out right now with about 2,000 homes. It will be built out for a total of 3,500 homes. There's not a fence to be seen. So if you're used to moseying outside in your skivvies or less while you can, I don't know, get a suntan or putter around in your garden, you can't do that at Latitude Margaritaville Watersound, and you can't build your own fence. So no fences, no backyard privacy. Also, I will say, you will not have to mow a weed of that or a blade of that grass anytime year round because it's all taken care of. And everything looks beautiful when you step outside. Number 3 con reason for not wanting to live in Latitude Margaritaville Watersound is there's a very stringent HOA with a lot of rules. A lot of us like those rules. We want to maintain rules in the neighborhood that we live in and not go off the grid and go crazy and have neighbors who want to paint their houses purple, or in the case of Prince Mongo in Memphis, put toilet seats all around his front yard. It was kind of comical, but not if you were his neighbor. So you're not going to have any Prince Mongo. Y'all from Memphis, you're going to laugh at that. There's not going to be any Prince Mongo allowed in the HOA of Latitude Margaritaville Watersound. If you don't want the HOA breathing down your back because you've got an RV that you want to park in front of your house, that isn't going to happen. So if you are a free-spirited, I can't stand HOA kind of person, and I can't stand paying an HOA fee, don't come to Latitude Margaritaville Watersound. It is definitely not for you. The 4th con for Latitude Margaritaville Watersound, there's a ton of wildlife there. And you might think, well, I know in Florida, there's probably alligators. I've heard about them. They don't like you more than you don't like them. But there's also a lot of snakes. I didn't really think about the snakes, but I have a blind dog. So while he's out walking, I kind of have to be careful, not just for me, but for him as well, because Clark can't see a snake. I can see one, step back and be careful. But I'm just saying, you don't have just alligators, you've got snakes. Of course, you've got all of the insect critters that love to live there. But what I never knew until after we had signed the agreement, I still would have signed it, there are bears in Florida. Yes, there are brown bears, and they do live around the preserve. I had no earthly idea that there were bears in Florida. We'll just have to bear it. Terrible pun. So that's something else. If you don't like to be around bears, if you don't ever want to worry about seeing a bear, probably there aren't that many. But I also heard from someone, and I don't know if it's true, I didn't research it, that because the winters are so mild, the bears who live there don't hibernate. So they're like awake year round. The fifth con that might keep you from enjoying life in Latitude Margaritaville Watersound is the thing that we're so excited about, and that it is a chill Jimmy Buffett beach vibe. If you're not at heart someone who enjoys that beach vibe, that really carefree, laid back, that kind of music, being near the beach, a chill life, and as one article said that I read when I was down there, being around a bunch of old people who have fun like 15-year-olds. If that doesn't describe you, you're probably not going to like living in Latitude Margaritaville Watersound. I would maybe look elsewhere. So I hope that helps you make a decision. It sure helped us make ours. Thank you so much for joining me in my channel, My Third Act. And maybe I need to rename it, My Third Act at the Beach. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.